Turkiye. They probably can consider Harif. We know that Ivritel is the direct
Oke guys, kita masuk di game ke satu guys, antara Kamboja versus Turki guys. Fanny di ban, Gatot Katai, Sunsin, Hylas, Cici, Chogrok, Yuzong, Ruby, Hilda guys. Versi Kamboja, Esmeralda.
Team Turkiye does have some scaling, but in comparison to Lancelot and Granger, they are going to be the ones that need to make things happen in the early to mid. Very interesting final choice.
Definitely interesting coming up from Team Turkiye, double fighter lane. And so far, we do see a lot of the win rate coming in for the double fighter. It is not one of the metas that we've seen so far throughout all of the fights that has a really solid ground with the damage wise. So let's see if Turkiye will make something happen here with the surprise factor. On the side of Team Cambodia, I kind of lean onto them more because they have a really good structure, they have a really good front line, they'll be able to survive it out even though there is going to be a setup, especially with that setup coming in from the Badang.
Yeah. Thing is, even though Team Cambodia does have better scaling with the Granger and the Hayabusa, when it comes to that mid-game, Team Turkiye is just going to straight up be stronger. They have a lot of team fight potential because they have fighters, they rely on a 2-3 item power spike, which means that they can come online earlier and put a lot of pressure onto Team Cambodia. Basically do something similar to what Team Cambodia will typically perform in their matches instead, and take advantage of the fact that they may have slightly less early game pressure to maybe punish. But I'm not too sure if Uranus was the right pick for the job. This is being selected into an Esmeralda, so it's a bit more of a 50-50 lane. But Uranus ideally doesn't want to go into a 50-50 lane either. It's a hero that relies a little bit more on momentum. So it's a bit of a tricky spot. This is kind of an unusual draft dynamic.
Thinking the fact that we are seeing Turkey right now trying to make sure that they will be able to actually have a really composition with the Esmeralda. Again, I do feel like they are much playing off in a comfort zone. I do see they are having some of their drafts picking off that Uranus in their side. So this is probably them just trying to say like, hey, maybe there's a possibility that we can play with all the comforts that we have. They did actually manage to win against Iran with the Uranus, but the question is, it's only because they were able to actually have a goal lane, a MM in their own draft. So again, damage-wise was really good, and they have an opportunity for them to actually rise to the occasion for that late game. But compared to what they are here right now with the draft, they have Lapu-Lapu in the goal lane. Yes, they can actually do a little bit of punishment to Granger, but Granger has a great mobility as well as a great space gap. There's no problem whatsoever for Granger to move away from that Bravest fighter.
Yeah, that is the thing. They don't actually have all that much dive and reliable lockdown coming in from Team Turkiye here. It's very dependent on the Eve to be able to set up team fights and for you to generally take fights within it. I still don't know if Uranus was the right choice for the end, because that is going to be the hero matched up against Esmeralda in the EXP lane, and Esmeralda does have a slight advantage there, which is not ideal for the hero. I would have recommended maybe something like the X4, but at the same time it wouldn't have been as good because they are handling a Lancelot that can bypass it somewhat, but it may have been still a little bit more consistent overall. I'm not too sure how I feel about the Team Turkiye lineup. I feel like there were better answers, but maybe there is something I am missing, and we'll get to find out whether that's the case once we do jump into the game.
Definitely. Again, talking about how sometimes there is a little bit of surprise element. Sometimes we do not know what the other teams are talking about or what they're actually expecting. So there's a possibility they've already planned it out. Maybe they've already tried this draft on their own side, screaming it out, and they think that this is going to be a good combination, and it might actually be able to actually be fruitful into the main stage. So the question is it going to be enough though with the setup that has already been given out from the draft of Cambodia? Still, it's all depending on the perfect execution. If they can actually have a really good execution, great setup coming in from what you talked about, RWM. If that RWM put out a really good location-wise to make sure that all the position coming in from the team of Cambodia, it might actually help. But here's the thing, if Team Cambodia doesn't actually stick around together as one, they can actually be able to scatter things around. It's not going to be easy for the team of Turkey to catch upon them. But this is just us talking about it. Let's take a look on their battle spells. What are their prioritized right now? I think pretty much we do see some of the purifies comes in from Zushin as well as Granger, because this is a little bit of counter to make sure that they will
Ini
be able
lancelot
to
Kamboja
not
ngeri
be
ya.
catch easily
Ngeri
by
guys,
that
ngeri.
Kalea. But this is it, guys. Welcome to the
Kita lihat.
World Esports Championship 2025. Give it up to our two contenders for the grand final slot. Team Cambodia versus Turkiye.
Game number 1 of
Dia
our
skill
second
1 tuh,
semi-finals match here for
upgrade skill
final
1
day
dia
of
lancelotnya.
WEC 2025. Team Cambodia and Team Turkiye will both be eager to get a good setup so that they have the foundation to push on into the grand finals. It looks like we're going to be jumping into a quick pause here.
I want to do the same, how do I say, justice to all the stage as well with the audience here. Me too, man. Me too, everyone. I do feel the same feeling as well, but it's okay. We want to make sure that everything goes well for all of our players on stage, so we kind of need to actually falter just a little bit, give a little bit of time for them to set things up. There's a possibility maybe the sound is not coming off, or maybe they need to actually be prepared just a little bit for the technical issues, but we'll wait it out for a while. So far, but it is also here for
There's we have a number
in front.
I got top.
Lot here for them.
Lama, Cok.
Seems like the Eve is the picking out something too out of the ordinary for either side, as we already pointed out.
Ya mungkin kita nunggu lama lah.
Oh, goes in for the free break, comes in as well for the wave breaker. Managed to actually disperse, but now goes in for the shuriken attack. But does it manage to actually go in? Boxy in the danger zone, goes in for the grab for OB, goes back for the fist break, but at the same time, still surviving out. AB right now will be able to move away, jumps from all those danger zone.
Genzi's still waiting. He just hit level 4. That's actually slightly unlucky timing for Team Turkiye. TNZ was this close to hitting level 4, and an Ogi Shadow kill would have actually gotten maybe 2 kills there. So Team Cambodia able to get out of that situation without feeding farm over to the Haya.
And even so, a lot of invasive coming in from TFPA right now. Team Cambodia, they are a little bit of push right now. Boxy comes in, try to actually trap Luna, but it's not going to be enough. Comes in for the follow-up with the Wave Breaker. Push in with the RWM. They are making sure that they're zoning out this turtle, but goes in for a 1v1 fight. Is it going to be enough? Boxy managed to survive it out. But two right now with AP, want to survive with the Adu, but somehow they go in for the puncher. Rosa gets the third first of all for Turkiye, but it's going to be a first blood as well for Sigibum right at the bottom.
Well, that's an interesting turn of events right there. As we already pointed out, this Eve is going to be the most consistent damage for the side of Team Turkiye. Really well played for Rosa to identify the failed timing on a retribution to steal that away. I don't think Singh should have tried to take a fight against Sigibum at that time. He knew that the rest of his team would not be nearby, and it didn't seem like the Lapu Lapu was low enough for him to punish. So Team Turkiye with a slight advantage for now. Well played as well to Lunar for keeping away Boxy from the fight. This is already what we mentioned. Team Turkey has a slight lead earlier on.
Coming up right now, they are trying to do a little bit of invasive. Comes in with a punching, but those goes in for the Whisper. Face back comes through. RWM. Sigibum takes down Boxy. They are wanting for more, but it's going to be Cambodia to just disperse.
This is going according to the plan thus far from Team Turkiye. OP.
Oh, Tsunami Slam! Going in for the shadow kills. AB3 takes down OP immediately for another kill. And now they want to actually go for the trade, but is it going to be enough? Zin takes down AP, but at the same time, Detective had to move away before being taken out.
A small bit of a reversal there from Team Cambodia. Being able to give that kill to Singh helps make up for his earlier first blood in lane as well.
Under-strike
well
dulu deh.
aware that they want to play fast, especially with this Uranus. So far, Lunar doing a good job of matching up in lane with the Esmeralda, doing exactly what is needed of him. Boxy is having some difficulty. This Badang so far hasn't had the... Oh, hold on.
This open up right here for the Satas. Sigibum managed to move away safely. Sing, a little bit of overextension will be denied immediately by TNC now. They want to come in for Boxy. Goes in for the famous spider and shuts it down immediately for the double
Ini kita
kill.
dukung yang mana,
Excellently
guys?
done by Team Turkiye right there. blocking
Turkiye
the
aja,
hits
Turki.
for the Lapu Lapu. Sigibon was able to jump back in with the extra shield from the enhanced auto attack and punish Sing for trying to go for the snipe. Now Lunar is buying time as well.
Goes in for the falling star, but at the same time, right here, Quad Shadow comes through. TNZ just trying to pick a little bit for Oppie. Somehow they will not be able to actually take down anyone just yet. Turkiye doing a lot of composition, a lot of pressure to the side of Cambodia.
And that is exactly what they need to be doing right now.
Kita
Boxy
lihat
is gonna
turtle
try and be
kedua.
annoying here, but he is surrounded.
Tsunami
Tuh
Slam
lancenya
picks up Boxy.
ngambil-ngambilin
Boxy will
bab
be able to
itu.
move away safely with a flicker, but at the same time, Luna zoning out Wadu, OP as well as Boxy. They goes in the front line, going to fight with TNZ. Our damage has already been picked up. Shadow kill, doesn't get
Aduh,
anyone.
mati ya busanya.
TNZ will be shut down by Wadu instead. Now moving on, Sigmund takes down Detective for the trade-off. But it's gonna be only Wadu to be surviving for the front line. Still managed to actually go away, but Boxy, lifeline, a little bit of deep place. So danger zone going in for that recall for the side of the grass, but still, they will be able to move away safely.
It ends up being slightly in favor of Team Cambodia because both the junglers were traded, but Sing was actually not part of the fight and was able to get a free tower down bottom. However, Team Turkiye seems to be repositioning for the turtle faster due to their sustain. TNZ has respawned. They will claim that turtle.
Nice, dapat
And
raya
we're
busa guys.
still slightly in favor of Team Turkiye.
Turkiye doing a lot of the objectives. A little bit of split push coming in from Team Cambodia. All the macros as well as the micros are going to be seen a little bit different from both of these teams. So far, when it comes to the goal difference, it's just 1K, so that's not much of a big deal. Still, Cambodia can have a little bit of turnover if they can actually hold out the position right now.
If they can hold out the position, they'll still be okay. Though Sing, unfortunately, dying twice is not the most ideal circumstances. You can see that Sigibom is an entire 1,000 gold ahead of the Granger currently. The junglers, though, pretty close. So it can still go either way. Cambodia now needs to make a decision. Do they want to play a little bit more for Detective? Do they want to play a little bit more for Sing? Depending on which decision they make, that'll affect their next couple rotations. It'll make them decide how they want to approach the next couple minutes.
Seems that AP3X47 just making sure that he will be able to actually give a lot of the information. Even with Sigaboom trying to be catched out by Boxy, will be denied immediately. And this is giving a lot of opportunity for Turkiye to just get as much as resources, stack things up. But now Tsunami Slam comes in, try to break away. Sigaboom takes down Boxy immediately. And now it is an opportunity for Team Turkiye to mash things up for the 30 seconds of that Turkey.
And I like how that's literally the interaction I mentioned before the game started. If you see the Badang, just grab him, pull him into your team, burst him down. Now suddenly you have the numbers advantage regardless of the situation. So Apex in trouble.
Apex, a little bit of overextension as well as confidence comes in. Wadu goes in, giving a little bit of damage.
Bisa juga tuh komentator bilang Wadu.
Who goes in for the dive, takedowns in, and now OP want to
Waduh,
make sure
katanya.
that can actually trade things out, but somehow Sigaboom is just too hard to be picked up.
I can't remember if we've seen Sigibum playing on the gold lane Lapu Lapu up until now, but he is playing a mean game currently. 5-0 and 2 on the gold lane fighter. Being able to pick off his opponent multiple times.
Oh, itu nama Esmeraldanya Wadu ya?
Continue controlling.
All the damage comes into
Wah,
OP side.
kampret,
They want to
kampret.
make sure they get the last turtle in their hands. Again, all the
Curiga
objectives.
aku pemain Indo tuh guys.
Goes in for the fist break. Doesn't actually make sure there's a follow-up though. A little bit of slow coming in, but they are going for the push. It's
Udah
detective.
pelan-celat lagi.
Sing comes in with that back to be shut down. Now pushing on with the fist break.
Nice.
TNZ comes in with a shadow kill. Takes down Sing for the trade as well, but it is going to be one kill for the side. No, it's
Rasanya
going to
mati,
be
Cok.
two in the hands of Team Turkiye.
It's an absolute
Turkiye.
chaotic mess right now, but Team Cambodia are the ones in control and they're going for more.
Puncher comes in,
Sedang
detective
lagi.
takes down Sigaboom, but that's already enough damage for Cambodia to turn things around.
That is actually disastrous right there for Team Cambodia. Lunar now also in trouble.
Goes in for the last hit. Cambodia getting all the bodies dropped right this instant. Apex, that is not a good move, but here on out, Team Cambodia finally turns things, making sure that they get the composure, and they already got a lead of 1K goal back to them.
Kenapa
That is basically
Kamboja
the
nih nggak
best-case
ketemu
scenario that
Malaysia
Team
aja?
Cambodia could have asked for. They stole the turtle away. They got multiple kills, including a shutdown on the Lapu Lapu, which I'm pretty sure did actually go to the landslide. And you can see that Detective has already surpassed TNZ in farm as a result of it. The gold lead that Team Turkiye had built up and was holding on to the entire time has been thrown away in a single instant because they lost their formation and allowed themselves to be scattered. They did not protect Rosa. Wadu was able to chase him down, make sure that that was no longer a question in the fight. And now Team Cambodia regains their momentum and they're scaling.
See, Team Turkiye, if they want to actually go in for the setup again, they can do so, but they got to make sure they can find a way to lock on OP. So far right now, the only one that's actually giving a lot of the opportunity, RWM has already been picked up, goes in for a fight, but somehow we are seeing OP able to actually stir away, but he will be taken out by Sigaboom. Wadu will trade off with Rosa, but at the same time, Sigaboom will not be able to take down Wadu, so it's going to be a 1v1 right here for the side of mid lane.
I think Apex 47 is going to need to make sure that he is able to defend Rosa from Wadu. This Esmeralda is picked up specifically to counter the Eve. And so far, this interaction hasn't actually worked out too well for Esme because the Eves have been able to position correctly protected for their teammates. Team Turkiye, though, playing a very snowball-oriented fighter-style composition means that they don't quite have as many tools of handling things. Most of their heroes just need to dive into the front line and hope to do enough damage to come out on top, which is not good news for their one and only backline DPS.
Let's see if Team Turkiye, this Lord, is already
Hayabusa level 13, Lancelot level 14.
as well, setting up already, and we do see
Apakah
a
akan
little bit
dikontes?
of pressure coming in from the top lane. So TNZ is quite far off, not actually too far off. Definitely will be able to jump in if he wants to actually pull in.
Wah, itu Lancelotnya ngejar 15 dia
As
itu,
well as
guys.
Turkiye. They know for a fact they don't want to mess things up. Pack coming in right now from the back line. Conceal comes through, but already been spotted out. Doesn't manage to actually get in to actually kill someone, or even Cecile. Tsunami Slam comes through, gets Wadu, but Wadu survived it out. Detective takes down Rosa immediately. This is gonna be Luna, also been catched by OP itself, but survive it out with the Transcendent Ward. Somehow, right here, Team Cambodia, they have a really good composure, managed to actually retreat back. But here, Wadu once more wants to actually contest it out. Is it gonna be enough though? It seems that they want to actually pull through. There's a little bit of damage here from the side of Cambodia, but Team Turkiye say, nah, slow things down, and this is gonna be opening the lot for them.
And now that we've reached the 11-minute point, I think everyone watching can see why I was so confused about this Uranus last pick. The moment that Rosa is taken out of the fight, really well played by Detective there to find the puncture straight through the heart of Team Turkiye. The rest of them literally can't do anything. They're just walking around like headless chickens. Literally no target, no damage. They can only soak damage at that point. Team Cambodia is aware of this. That's why every single time when the fight starts, this Eve needs to go.
And even here, we see Wadu is doing so much of the damage. His break comes in. Tsunami Slam, want to steal away Wadu. It's not going to be enough, though. Apex in danger, had to move away. A lot of damage comes in, and now this is going to give that mid turret in their hands. Sigaboom, being in danger. OP trying to make sure that she will be able to actually pick it up, but OP somehow will make sure that at least it is going to be a pressure at that mid lane, and somehow the Lord pushing in as well for the bottom turret. Holy Defense is already out. Somehow it might be an opening for the team of Cambodia to just push through to make sure at least one of the lanes is fair, but they still managed to survive it out. There's a really good defense coming in. Even Wadu just trying to actually tease a little bit. It was not enough though, so Team Turkiye still have it in the back just a little bit for now.
Pretty good defense for now, though they will lose all of their external towers as a result of that. Cambodia finally building up a sizable 4.7k gold lead. A big chunk of this going to be in the hands of Detective, since he was able to get a lot of kills sequentially. The gold lane farm is still pretty even, but this is the risk of going for a fighter gold lane. Lapu is a lot less efficient now that we've reached this point of the game compared to something like a Granger. And Lunar also falling very heavily behind in terms of farm compared to Wadu, which when you add on to the fact that consistent DPS is wholly lacking from the side of Team Turkiye, means that it's a lot more difficult to get rid of the Esmeralda as compared to the
Timing is crucial.
What happened, man?
Cambodia. If they can actually have a really good composition, making sure that Turkiye doesn't actually able to steal away, because no matter how much Apex trying to make sure that he will be able to steal with a Tsunami Slam, that Purify just denies immediately. And this is why Team Cambodia, they have so much of escape. Slippery hands coming in from the Turkiye side. This is how they will be able to survive every attempt coming in from Turkiye.
Team Turkiye needs to commit to split pushing, I think, at this point. They have to take the risk, they have to throw bodies. They are fairly sustainable, so it should be okay for them to play independently. If they keep trying the team fight, they're not going to win.
Even OP try to pick out one of the players there. Luna barely surviving there with the lifeline, but still managed to move away without
Kita
any
lihat Lord,
casualties so far. Team
20 detik,
Turkey maintaining their own position so that they do not
14
drop
detik,
some bodies, even though it is necessary right now. They are
10
trying to make
detik.
sure that at least during the fight for the Lord, they have enough manpower. But is it going to be a
Level
great
imbang sih
fight indeed?
Lancelot sama
Because
Hayabusa
if they
guys.
be able to
Bisa
actually
lah
steal
do
this Lord from the
retreat.
hands of Cambodia, it will be a
Tapi
great
berat sih
turnover
kalau
for
menang
Turkey.
dari Lancelot nih.
Main goal of Turkiye is once again to try and just grab Boxy or even better Detective and burst him down before the fight starts. Then they'll have much more advantage when it comes to actually contesting the objective and going for the team fight. The Eve is still good zone control, but it's gonna be risky all the time because Cambodia can't just run them down like this.
Look at that. Everyone been dispersed just by Team Cambodia. Now Detective just trying to actually poke a little bit of that
Lihat,
loss.
belum mau
Sikibum has already been spotted
dipaksa.
out, goes in for OP, but can he actually make it through? Fist break comes in, still surviving it out, but Shadow Kill comes in from TNC, takes down OP immediately. Now pushing on TNC, having a little bit of damage right there, had to move away, but it's still a good win coming in from Team Turkey itself.
Lu sih udah
Seems that
mantep itu
Detective
guys,
goes
dapat
into the
1.
backline, trying to go in for the puncher,
Aduh,
doesn't
pada
get the killing he
start lagi
wants,
cok.
but somehow he will be able to survive it out. He goes to
Aduh.
TNC again, one more
Waduh.
time, that is the overextension, and this is
Waduh.
denied by Team Turkey.
Really good dive here from Team Cambodia. Really good defense by Team Turkiye.
Wow,
We're seeing
free
solid
alert
micromechanics
lagi.
overall, but now the dynamics of the draft are really rearing their ugly head in this
Lama-lama
game.
Kamboja
Team Turkiye played that pretty well. Sikibum got a
tengis
great
ya.
catch, jumped in alongside TNC, got the pick off on OP, but even though they had the numbers advantage, they still couldn't actually take the
Kita
fight to
tunggu
Team
aja dia
Cambodia
ketemu
because they
Malaysia
are
guys.
lacking consistent DPS output and they need to keep Rosa alive.
Look at Wadu. Wadu just at the front line, doing everything he can to make sure that that can zone out every single movement of Turkey. And Wadu,
Waduh.
what a Frangler should do. Luna comes in, gonna try to pick it out, but is it gonna be enough? Fist break comes in, Detective gets the turn on the hands of Cambodia, and now they're gonna always strike back. Gets attacks as well. Moving on right now, still surviving though Sikibum. Sikibum managed surviving, but OP comes in for the take, and now they're moving on to fight it off. Stuns a bit, had to move away with a flicker, so Turkey will be able to survive it out. But Luna in the end will be also be taken out, but RDM has already been picked up. Is it gonna be enough though? Wadu comes in, Puncher comes through from Detective. Now Shadow kills. Is it gonna be enough to get the Boxy? But Boxy still survive with immortality. One more hit. TNC! He will be surviving it all.
Aduh cok. Waduh.
That's gonna be Turkey losing 3 lifeline in the hands of
Iya
Cambodia.
gitu.
There were so many twists and turns in that last fight, but I think we could say for sure that Cambodia came out on top. They found their targets. Rosa and TNC are not going to be able to respawn for this Lord defense. Boxy goes down with the trade for Lunar, and the Lord is pushing
Udah
into the
lain
base.
guys.
Pushing in into the base, Sikibum trying to make sure Wavebreaker also comes through, but Apex, all of the lifeline goes in for the Tsunami Sun, but Detective takes him down immediately with the crystal in the hands of Team Cambodia for the first win.
And with that, Team Cambodia sets themselves up. They are now 1 victory away from potentially making it all the way to the grand finals. A solid game performed there by the side of Team Cambodia. But the draft coming in from Team Turkiye was not doing them any favors.
Relax, Detective is here. And that is what
Kita lanjut di
Cambodia
game
has
kedua,
said
guys.
and spoken here at the stage of WEC 20.